This is the Hover Air X1 Pro Max, a truly autonomous drone that folds up and fits in your pocket, allowing you to get incredible travel sequences like this. This thing has an 8K sensor, films up to 4K in 120 frames per second, all in 10-bit color. And depending on the configuration you buy, it comes with a beacon that will help this thing track you more accurately and give you a built-in screen so you can see where it's flying. And you can also connect it to a controller too to fly it just like a regular drone. First of all, it's worth mentioning that 00, who makes the Hover Air series, sent this drone out to me along with the whole kit that comes with it to make a video. However, we haven't agreed on any specifics with regards to the video, and I'm gonna say my true, honest thoughts on this thing, including some of the negatives, which we'll get to later on. But I have to say, after using this for quite a while, I'm pretty blown away. So how exactly does it work? Well, it's pretty simple. You just unfold it like this. It'll automatically turn on, and if it doesn't, you press and hold the top button.
Hover.
It'll tell you the current mode. It's in hover mode right now. And you just press these side buttons here.
Zoom out. Follow.
Till you get what you want. Let's do follow. So you press follow, and then you can choose whether you want it to be close or far away. We'll just do close. And then you just press this button here. You hold it out like this.
Close. Follow.
It'll beep at you. Take off just like that. And here, I'll take this camera with me. You can see it's behind me now. And I'm on my one wheel. So we'll switch between the two shots of the follow cam and myself. And as you can see, it is just following me like so. And this thing, I did some early tests with this thing and it's very impressive. So let's go between some trees. See if this thing will follow us through the trees. Try not to fall off whilst I'm on this one wheel. Okay, so here we have some trees coming up here like this. Let's see if it will make it through. Ooh. Oh, this is a tricky area to navigate through here. I would be really surprised if this thing makes it. Wow, it's still following me. Okay. So this thing has obviously the front-facing camera that can sense obstacles, and then a rear-facing obstacle sensor, and then downward-facing sensors as well. But there are no sideward-facing sensors, so it cannot detect if it's going to fly sideways into something. But this thing is still following me. Pretty impressive. And then of course, when you want to land it, it'll just stop and wait for you, just like a pet dog. Just put your hand out and it will land straight into it. Fold it away and then get your next shot. To be honest with you, when they reached out to me, I was a little bit skeptical because I have been a bit of a DJI diehard. And I've had various different DJI drones over the years, which all have a few autonomous things, but they require the controller. This thing does not. You just unfold it, set it to the mode with the button on the top, and let it fly. About 10 years ago, I remember thinking about the future of cameras and thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if you could have a camera that could fit anywhere in space without the need of a tripod or a gimbal or a cameraman? Well, now that camera exists. From this one device, you can get static shots, tracking shots, dolly shots, top-down shots, aerial shots, and so many others. This thing takes elements of the Osmo Pocket 3 and drones and combines them without the need of a tripod, a gimbal, or a controller, and it's all built into one little thing. So saying this, are we at the level of vlogging with one of these autonomous drones, especially in this case, the Hover Air X1 Pro Max? Well, technically, you can get audio in using the beacon that's attached to the controller, and it will record the audio. But I found getting the synchronized audio with the footage off of this thing is a little bit confusing, and the only way I've managed to make it work is by downloading it via the app. So instead of plugging it in and getting the footage directly off of the memory card or the internal storage, which this has, I've noticed that I can't really sort the audio thing out. Perhaps there's a way, but it's definitely not intuitive. This is working. This is a little test on the audio as well, on the little GPS module, or the, what is this? The beacon. And you can see yourself as well.
Yeah.
So we're in shadow right now.
Yeah.
But
Cool. I love it.
it's kind of getting us.
Oh, should we go this way?
Let's go this way. Come on, little droney. Now, the way that I've managed to sync up audio with the shots from this drone is by recording the audio separately, either by using the Memo app on my phone and then airdropping it to my computer and putting it into DaVinci Resolve, or by recording using the DJI Mic 2 and combining the two with DaVinci Resolve, manually syncing them up, and then using the AI noise removal tools with DaVinci to remove the sound of this little drone. The app is very similar to that of DJI or any other kind of camera app. It's where you're going to go and set all of your settings for this device, as well as see the footage that you've recorded on this. Now, one of the things I've noticed is that you can't preview currently the footage fully just by streaming it from the drone to your phone. You actually have to download it wirelessly, which is a relatively quick process before you can actually preview the entire clip, which is quite unlike any other type of camera phone connection, at least that we've seen with DJI and Insta360, where you can preview everything without ever downloading it to your phone itself. The other thing that you can do from within the app is actually bring up a controller and manually control your drone using the app. Of course, then you're dealing with a Wi-Fi connection, which they say, depending on where you are, whether you're in like the countryside or in a city scenario, you'll get varying different rates of connection. I wouldn't expect it to be a super long range connection anyway. I tested it at a castle nearby and I managed to film the whole castle with relative ease, but I did notice a lot of the signal kind of dropping at times. So in an inner city environment like this, we're in a park in London, that signal is going to be vastly inhibited with all of the other interference. As I mentioned earlier, this thing comes in various different combos. If you get the all-in-one combo, it comes with a controller set as well as the beacon, and the controller set's a modular controller, so it's compact and it's really quite clever the way it connects together and allows you to add your phone and control this thing manually over further distances than you could just using Wi-Fi with your phone. You can also separate parts of the controller using just the beacon and one part of the controller and using it as a motion controller, kind of like you've seen with some of the other brands where you can kind of move it and the drone flies with the movement of your controller. I have to say that I don't think that it's super intuitive though, and I actually had to look up a video online to see how it works. But once it is working and it does take off, it is quite intuitive. Then you kind of just move the controller forward to make it fly forward, bring it back to slow it down, and then you have a little joystick on there as well. But I really think my favorite use case for this drone is the autonomous features. The fact that it is so small and compact just allows me to chuck it right in my bag without worrying. The gimbal is protected by most of the body of this camera. I found myself bringing it with me more than any other drone that I've ever had. It's worth noting though that these batteries are quite small, which is both a pro and a con. It means that they're small enough that you can chuck a bunch in your bag without having to worry about it. But of course, you know what the downside is going to be. It's going to be the fact that it has a relatively small battery life. This thing will fly, as stated on the website, at about 16 minutes. I managed to get around that. I haven't actually timed it, but it seems like it's at least that. But you actually don't notice it if you're using it in a lot of the autonomous modes, because most of the time you're getting your autonomous shot. It's taking a minute or two, and then you're landing it and then going and getting another shot. Unless you're just having this thing track you for a long time, this battery is going to last quite a while and allow you to get multiple different shots. You're probably not going to want it to track you for ages anyway, because I mean, that's a whole bunch of footage. It's just like letting your GoPro run for ages as well. You probably wouldn't do that. So I actually don't think that the 16-minute battery life is a negative, and I prefer to have a bunch of these little things. It's also worth noting as well is that this thing charges via USB-C. So right now I'm in London for a few days and I've just brought one battery with me, and I just know that I can charge it directly into the drone, which is kind of cool. So earlier in the video, you saw a clip of this thing crashing. So the question there lies is, A, what happened and how is it? Well, first of all, this is the drone after it's been crashed. It is perfectly fine. There's honestly nothing wrong with it. The downside is that it took me 2 days to recover it because it crashed in a really dense bramble bush in a foresty area, which meant it was a nightmare to try and recover it, especially with it being so stealthy. I noticed that by default, it doesn't have this like beeping sound whenever it crashes. So I literally could not find this thing for 2 days, and actually some passers-by saw me looking through these bushes and helped me find it. So what happened? I was on this one wheel, and you've been seeing various other clips of me with the one wheel where we've had successful follow cams, even through some really interesting scenarios. But on this scenario, I set the follow mode to far. And one thing I noticed is whenever you pick up a bit of speed and you set that follow mode to far, whatever movement you make, the drone tries to follow it. But of course, there's going to be a bit of a delay. And I found that whenever I did a little carve on the pathway, this thing was going so fast, its movement that tried to follow me went way outside of the area that I was actually riding in, and it ended up flying sideways into a bunch of bushes. And I think it probably realized but couldn't stop in enough time and just went straight into the bushes, which of course is not a good scenario. Like I said, in the closer follow modes, I didn't really have this same issue. And it's not really an issue that it crashes because it's pretty strong. It is an issue though, if it's in a dense forest area or if you're over water. Of course, if this thing fell into a watery ditch or something like that, I can probably guarantee it's not going to withstand that. I mean, there's loads of access points for water. I know in the app you can set the settings to what happens if you lose connection with this, or if it gets lost, whether it hovers, whether it self-lands, or whether it goes back to a known home point. Another thing that I would be curious about as well is if I was using the beacon as a tether method as opposed to having it visually track me, whether I'd have the same issue. The beacon will allow you to have a much more accurate track. It's just like a tether, as like having an invisible string. So it will not lose you as easily as it might visually. I can imagine with the contrast of all of that area that I was riding in, this was probably having a bit of a hard time trying to track me, as well as the fact that I was going so fast. So I think if you added the beacon to the mix, it would have been better. And I also probably would have been watching to see the shot because there's a little screen on there, and I would have then known where it would have crashed, and I probably could have helped recover it that way. So there are other ways of using this where you can get more accurate flying characteristics out of it. I was just using it in the purely autonomous mode. So who is this drone for? Well, I think it's for the person that wants the ultimate travel selfie drone. If you're going on a adventure or something like that and you don't want all the hassle of having to set up loads of little bits, I really like how this thing is so easy. You just open it, turn it on, set the mode, and it will fly, get you the shot, you land it, and then you move on. I also think it's for people that really want to get quite creative. If you're one person and you don't have the ability to set up a bunch of cameras or whatever, you can do that with this. This thing will actually honestly record without even flying, which is kind of interesting. The only downside is the audio connection, as we've discussed. But I do think this is the ultimate little selfie travel drone that you can use to control manually, but mostly use autonomously, get your shots, capture your environment and your travels, and move on. It's so light, compact, and very versatile and rugged. So I think that's who this is for. I'm really looking forward to getting more creative with it and to see what things I can do with this thing. If you want to learn a little bit more about the specs of this drone and maybe even pick one up, my affiliate link is down in the description down below. Let me know if you have any questions about this thing. I'm happy to make some more videos about it and give you some more answers. I'm definitely going to be using it a lot more. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.